Is there anything more isolating than being surrounded by celebration, yet utterly alone? Ethan Thorne, the notoriously reclusive billionaire CEO of Thorne Industries, felt the familiar pang of an outsider as he sat at a table meant for 8, all 7 other chairs conspicuously empty. The opulent ballroom of the Everglen estate buzzed with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft strains of a string quartet. But for Ethan, it was just background noise to the deafening silence in his own heart. He had only come out of a sense of obligation to his long-time business partner, whose daughter was getting married. His sharp suit felt like a costume, and the forced smile he'd plastered on his face for the occasional well-wisher felt brittle. He watched the happy couple dance, a vision of pure joy, and a bitter taste filled his mouth. He had everything money could buy: jets, mansions, a corporate empire, but at this moment, he would trade it all for a genuine connection, a shared glance, a hand to hold. The vibrant colors of the floral arrangements seemed to mock the monochrome landscape of his emotional world. Just as he was contemplating a discreet exit, a shadow fell over his table. He looked up, expecting another polite but ultimately superficial conversation. Instead, a woman with eyes that sparkled like champagne, dressed in a simple yet elegant emerald green dress, leaned in close. Her voice, a melodic whisper, brushed his ear. "Pretend you're with me." Who was this intriguing stranger, and why was she involving him in her charade? Ethan, caught entirely off guard, could only stare. The woman, sensing his hesitation, didn't wait for a reply. She seamlessly pulled out the chair next to him, her movements fluid and confident, and sat down. "Trust me," she murmured, her gaze flicking briefly towards a group of stern-looking individuals across the room before settling back on him with a disarming smile. "It's for a good cause." The sudden shift in his lonely evening was dizzying, from quiet isolation to an unexpected, thrilling conspiracy in a matter of seconds. He found himself playing along, a strange and exhilarating feeling for a man whose life was usually meticulously planned and controlled. She introduced herself as Lena, and with a captivating ease began a lively, albeit entirely fabricated conversation about their supposed shared past. Her laughter was infectious, and for the first time that evening, Ethan found himself genuinely smiling, the tightness in his chest loosening. He even offered a few impromptu details about their adventures together, enjoying the rare sensation of improvisation. But beneath the playful banter, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Lena's request than a simple desire to avoid an awkward encounter. Her eyes held a flicker of something deeper, a hint of desperation masked by her charm. As she subtly steered their conversation away from inquisitive glances, he wondered, what kind of trouble was Lena really in, and by pretending to be with her, had he just walked directly into it? Lena's good cause became increasingly apparent as the evening progressed. The group she had glanced at earlier, a formidable woman with an icy demeanor and 2 burly men, seemed to be keeping a close watch on them. Every time Lena excused herself, even for a moment, their eyes followed her like predators. Ethan, usually oblivious to social undercurrents, felt a prickle of unease. This wasn't just a friendly game. Lena was genuinely trying to escape something, or someone. During a lull in the music, Lena leaned in again, her smile faltering for a split second. "Those are my associates," she whispered, her voice tighter than before. "They're very persuasive when they want something." Ethan's mind raced. Associates? The way she said it implied less of a business partnership and more of a captor and captive dynamic. He caught a glimpse of a faint bruise on her wrist, partially hidden by her long sleeve, and a cold knot formed in his stomach. The illusion of their carefree romance was becoming harder to maintain. He felt a protective instinct he hadn't known he possessed stir within him. He was a billionaire, accustomed to solving problems with a phone call, but this felt different, more immediate, and far more personal. As Lena subtly moved to shield him from a direct line of sight with the formidable woman, he realized the stakes were higher than he'd imagined. Was he just a convenient shield, or had he become an unwitting participant in a dangerous game? "May I have this dance, darling?" Lena asked, her voice light and playful, but her eyes held a silent plea as the band struck up a slow, romantic tune. Before Ethan could respond, she was already pulling him onto the dance floor, her hand warm against his. He hadn't danced in years, preferring the solitude of his office, but as their bodies moved together, a strange rhythm took hold. It was a dance of deception, a public display of affection designed to mislead. As they swayed, Lena explained in hushed tones, "They believe I have something that belongs to them. A very important flash drive." She subtly gestured to her tiny evening bag. "They're trying to retrieve it." The pieces clicked into place. This wasn't a social faux pas she was avoiding. It was an extraction, and he was her unwitting accomplice. The weight of his wealth suddenly felt insignificant against the very real danger Lena was facing. Her vulnerability, juxtaposed with her fierce determination, was captivating. He found himself not just playing a role, but truly wanting to protect her. The world seemed to shrink to just the two of them on the dance floor, surrounded by a swirling vortex of light and music, yet acutely aware of the watchful eyes from the periphery. Could he, a man who built his empire on logic and calculated risks, navigate this emotional and dangerous labyrinth for a woman he barely knew? The dance ended, and Lena, with a charming smile, led Ethan to a secluded corner near the grand staircase, away from the direct line of sight of her associates. Or so they thought. As Lena excused herself to the ladies' room, mentioning a need to freshen up, Ethan found himself momentarily alone, observing the crowd. That's when he overheard it. A hushed conversation from a seemingly innocuous couple standing just behind a large potted palm. "She won't get far with him," a man's voice muttered, clearly referring to Lena and Ethan. "He's too predictable. The Thorn Empire is crumbling anyway. We'll simply let them both fall." Ethan's blood ran cold. Crumbling? His empire? The words hit him like a physical blow. Was this all a setup? Was Lena, this captivating stranger, somehow involved in a plot against him? The pleasant illusion of their budding connection shattered, replaced by a chilling suspicion. When Lena returned, her eyes shining, she noticed the change in his demeanor. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice laced with genuine concern. Ethan looked at her, searching her eyes for any hint of deceit. Was she a victim or a master manipulator? The overheard conversation had planted a seed of doubt so profound, it threatened to unravel everything. Could he trust her, or was he being played for a fool, about to lose more than just his lonely evening? Ethan, his voice carefully neutral, repeated the overheard conversation to Lena. Her face, usually so expressive, paled. They're talking about your company?" she whispered, her eyes wide with what appeared to be genuine shock. "I had no idea. This isn't about you, Ethan, I swear. It's about a list of their illegal activities that I managed to get my hands on." She pulled a tiny flash drive from a hidden compartment in her clutch, holding it out to him. "This drive," she continued, her voice trembling, "it contains evidence of their financial fraud, their money laundering, and even their plans to sabotage a major competitor. I think that competitor might be Thorn Industries." The pieces of the puzzle suddenly began to fit together in a terrifying new configuration. Lena wasn't just escaping. She was a whistleblower, and the associates weren't just after her. They were after the evidence that could bring them down, and potentially him. The revelation was a double-edged sword. It exonerated Lena from direct involvement in a plot against him, but it also painted a much larger, more dangerous picture. He wasn't just helping a woman escape. He was now holding the key to a vast criminal conspiracy, and his own company was directly in their crosshairs. The ballroom, once a symbol of celebration, now felt like a gilded cage. What was he going to do with this dangerous knowledge, and the even more dangerous evidence? With the flash drive now safely in his pocket, Ethan's mind, usually focused on quarterly reports and market trends, now worked with a frantic intensity to devise an escape. He looked at Lena, whose bravery in the face of such danger was truly astounding. "We need to leave now," he said, his voice firm, "and we need to do it without being seen." The thought of them escaping together, a billionaire CEO and a mysterious whistleblower, felt like something out of a spy novel. They used the chaos of the wedding party to their advantage, slipping out through a service exit, moving with a synchronicity that belied their short acquaintance. The cool night air hit them, a welcome contrast to the oppressive atmosphere of the ballroom. As they reached his waiting car, a black, unassuming sedan that didn't scream "Billionaire," Lena finally sagged against him, the adrenaline draining from her. In that moment, an unexpected wave of tenderness washed over Ethan. He put an arm around her, a gesture of comfort that felt remarkably natural. "You're safe now," he murmured, looking into her tired yet still sparkling eyes. The lonely billionaire who had arrived at the wedding alone, burdened by his own emotional isolation, now held a woman who had pulled him into a world of danger, intrigue, and an unexpected connection. As he started the car, he wondered, what kind of future awaited them, now that their lives were inextricably linked by a single whispered sentence and a dangerous secret?